What's up, folks? It's your boy Bob Hollywood with another exciting episode of Bob's Holly World. I am so excited today because I just got off of work and I am glad to not be at work. Today I'm going to be reviewing this Predator 2 figure. It's the City Hunter Predator and it is from Hiya, is their exquisite mini line, excuse me. This will be the second Predator I've reviewed. I reviewed the Guardian Predator. This, again, is the City Hunter. And this is not for children under the ages of 3. Probably because of all these small pieces. Definitely because of all these small pieces. This is actually meant for collectors aged 15 and above. This is not a toy. This is a super articulated figure. So, yeah, you see he's in the box. There's no bio. There's nothing special about the box. It's just this really cool box that has a picture of the City Hunter on the front, and then the City Hunter is inside of the packaging. I'm just going to take my blade and cut it. I might have just cut the actual box, but it's not like I'm going to keep the box. I'll lower my camera, and we're going to get this bad boy out. And hopefully I can record this video much quicker than I can record the video for the first Predator I did a review on. That video was long as a sumbitch because I was just getting to learn the nuances of the figure. You see he has a piece jumped out immediately. That goes to his stand. He comes with a stand. Every one of these 3 3/4 inch figures, whether it be with the Predator, the Aliens, Colonial Marines, or the actual Aliens, comes with this stand that plugs into his foot. There's a peg there. And on the bottom, these little I's or H's, depending on your perspective, can plug into it and allow it to attach to a different base. So that's pretty cool. I'm going to put that to the side, put that in the back. I'm going to stand up this guy, which again is the City Hunter Predator from Predator 2. I'm going to try to show him some respect. He does not want to stand very easily, and we'll get into that throughout the video. Let me see if I can give him his peg hold just to stand him up for this video. I cannot. So he's going to have to lay down for me. Sorry. As you see, he comes with a plethora of accessories. He comes with 2 sets of extra hands. These open hands that allow him to like grasp or reach out and maybe grab somebody by their neck. And also he can tap into his little self-destruct thing if he needs to. And then this more relaxed hand that can't hold an accessory as far as I know, but it's just more natural looking than, say, having a clenched hand or an outstretched hand. He comes with 2 of his staffs. One is shortened, which is in my left hand, and then in my right hand is how it would look if it were fully erect or fully elongated. And I think it's cool to have 2 different ones instead of this being able to shrink, because that would break pretty easily. This is made out of plastic. It can be easily broken if I bent it, but it's not like I'm going to bend it, so it's not going to easily break without that, if that makes sense. He also comes with this copper disc, which is a little Predator disc. I can pop this right onto his hip, as you can see. You just gotta see where it lines up, and it should go on there effortlessly. And I may be putting it in the wrong way, and if I am, it's an easy fix. I just turn the disc over. I think I'm putting it in. Maybe putting it in the wrong way. Whoops! It's very tiny. So if you have larger fingers like I do, and my hands are relatively small for my size, then you're probably going to have some trouble. But again, if you have smaller fingers, if you're a female or a 15-year-old or younger, if you decided to buy these, or if you're just a guy with smaller fingers, you might not have as much trouble as I'm having. And see, there's the disc in his holster. It's not in very securely. Trying to see if it'll fall out. It didn't fall out when I made him jump, but it did easily fall out with just a touch of my finger. Excuse me 1 second. Excuse me. Wow. And here's his shoulder-mounted cannon. It would go right on his left shoulder. His hair is in the way. Let me just show you. He also has this. Wow, he also has a necklace around his neck. I'm just trying to get it so we can look at it. So he has this necklace. I'm going to get to the cannon. the cannon. He has this necklace, and I do not remember the significance of this in the film. I'm trying to get this to not be blurry for you. Give me 1 second. I don't remember the significance of this in the film, but this is around his neck, and it could come off. It can easily come off. Might have some trouble getting it through his dreads, but we'll get that off in a second. I just wanted to go back to the shoulder-mounted cannon. Here is the actual cannon, and it goes on his right shoulder. Oh, why does this not want to focus for me? It goes on his right shoulder. You just pop it in there, and then you move it up. And they can do it at once, what you want it to do. One thing I don't like about it is it's going to come out really easily. And his hair kind of hides it. So that's lame. I mean, it was in there a little bit easier than, it stayed in there a little bit easier than with my Guardian Predator, but it still comes out nonetheless. And then the final accessory is this human skull with its spine still attached. If you remember, the Guardian Predator came with the human skull as well, but there was no spinal column attached. And I have his hands that are in his body right now. They are his gripping hands, so he can hold any of his accessories. And there he is holding the skull. Oh, victory! So I put that back there. And let's go over his detail. Like, look at this guy. He is brown and yellow and reptilian looking. Look at his feet. His feet have pegs, very small pegs. As you can see, the peg on this looks a little bit bigger than his foot. It's harder to get him to stand on his stand, which is unfortunate. Like, I'm fighting to get it on there, and I don't think that should be necessary. But there it is. He's on it. Shouldn't be necessary, but it was. Came off no problem. His helmet and his armor is like a copper tone. Really complements the brown in his flesh. He's painted more on the back than on the front in terms of the brown. But he's painted all over his body, and he has like this fishnet sort of scale throughout most of his body. There are places where it's brown and it's not the fishnet, and it's more like spotted. His arms are good. One has fishnet, one does not. Have different shoulder pads. Like his left shoulder's more detailed than his right shoulder. And on his right hand, he has his claws. I did not go over this in the Guardian Predator, but these extend, as you see, and they go back in. Right arm is where his self-destruct thing would be. There is nothing on it special. It's just that's where it would be. Again, for his waist, he has like a little loincloth. One side can hold his disc, and the other side is just armor. And then he has like this little attachment down here on his attached to his shin or his calf, and and that's just for aesthetics as far as I can tell. Excuse me. He has his dreads. Again, there's little beads in his dreads. Some are brown or copper, and then some are like a greenish color, and then some look to be silver. So, variety there. These are made out of soft plastic. Not pliable in terms of it's not just going to allow you to mold it. It's always going to be the way it is. Give me 1 second. Oh, sorry about that. I just received a phone call from my father, and I thought it was important to answer. So here we were just talking about the coppers and the browns and the yellows, and he also has this, if he were like a police officer, it would be kind of like a holster, under the arm holster. It's rubber. It's like it can come off, but you would have to take off his arms or detach him at the waist. You have to take off his arms, because even if I detached him at the waist, it wouldn't make a difference. Take off his head, take off his arms. If his arms come off, and you can get that off. If his arms don't come off, it's going to be a struggle getting it off, and even more of a struggle, getting it back on. So I think it's time to go over his artillery, his articulation. You see, look at his little brown face. Very hidden, by the way. And you can see his skull at the top, but his mask doesn't come off. So his head is going to swivel. We're going to rotate 360 degrees. And it goes up and down very much. And that's because there are 2 points of articulation. And this is where I was talking about getting that accessory off. There's a ball joint at the base of his neck. And then his head is also on just another swivel, which gives you more room. So when I just attempted to get his head off, I knew it was going to come off one way or another, no problem. His arms go up this much, not very high, but they rotate 360 degrees at the shoulder. As you can see, his shoulder pad is not attached to his chest armor, so not inhibited by that in any way. He also has a bicep swivel. Rotates 360 degrees, not giving me any trouble with the left arm. I know with the Guardian Predator it gave me some trouble, and his right arm also does it. It rotates 360 degrees, not giving me any trouble. His elbows are single jointed. His hand just came off. His hands easily come off, obviously, because you can do things with his elbows. His elbows are double, not his elbows, but his hands. His elbows are single jointed, and they bend a little less than 90 degrees. And then his gauntlet thing can rotate. Sweet. I don't think it can do that on both arms. Oh, can it do it on both? It can. I just don't want to risk breaking it, but it can do it on both arms. And then his hands rotate 360 degrees, and they also can do that because their one is just this little ball, so it's a lot of motion, range of motion. Just got to be careful that it doesn't come off. I'm going to set that so it's towards the back of his hand. His articulation in his waist is just 1 point. It's this ab crunch, but he can also swivel. He rotates 360 degrees and go side to side. He's dancing. He's shimmying and shaking. His legs go up pretty darn far. So he can balance well and better on like that than he can standing up, which is a shame. And then his legs go up this far. They go back that far, not much at all. Go this far again, and he can double jointed knee. Wow, that left knee is really tight, but he can have a seat. Left knee is really tight. Yeah, this double jointed knee. This second joint, the joint attached to the lower part of his leg, is stuck right now. But he can still get down on one knee. And he can do that on either side. It's just more work on his left knee if he does it. And you see how he doesn't want to stay. There is a thigh swivel. It's really tight on his left side, so I'm not gonna mess with it. And there is the same swivel on his right leg, but it's no problem moving. And then his ankles rotate 360 degrees. And there is a hinge, but the hinges are the worst joints on these figures, and that is why there's so much trouble getting to stand up, because you can move his knees around and stuff to try to get it to cooperate with you, but if you can't get those ankles to cooperate, he's not going to stand up, which as you can see, he's not going to stand up. He would have to use his base. Let me get his height. About 4.5, a little over 4.5. I'm going to compare him to some figures. The first figure I'm going to compare him to is my Guardian Predator. As you can see, there's a lot of the same sculpting. Very similar sculpting. His arms are different, but other than that, it's pretty much the same. Same back, same front, just different coloring. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with cheaping out like that. I think maybe their feet may be different, but it's the same dude. And their hands are interchangeable. There's obviously different colors, different masks, but I could put this head on that. I could do whatever I wanted. And Yeah, that's one figure. I'm also just going to compare him to some other taller outer space themed characters. So here's Blastar. Blastar is taller. I don't know how big Blastar is in the comics, so I don't know how he adds up to a Predator in real life, but Blastar is taller looking at them. Here is a Wookiee. Wookiee also taller. This is not Chewbacca. Chewbacca is about the same height as this Predator, if not smaller. And then, finally, Groot. I am Groot. Groot is a big boy compared to this guy. A very big boy. So, there's just those. Like, comment, subscribe, guys. Let all your homies know where they can find me, B.O.B., and that's right here at Bob's Holly World. I appreciate you stopping by, and you guys enjoy the rest of your day. And one more thing before I go. The only thing I don't like about it is the pegs being too small, and then his ankles just not wanting to cooperate. Other than that, it's a fine figure. I bought this for $20 from Big Bad Toy Store. You can also buy it from that same price from Hiya's website, but the shipping and handling is going to be more. So, catch you next time.